with your Knicks Celtics. First things first, I'm just going to throw this out there real quick. Shame on all those anybody that was at Madison Square Garden that booed Paul Pierce for trying to say thank you for supporting Boston. Sorry. Shame on you for that. I get the intensity of a playoff matchup, but it could have waited the 45 seconds that he was up there doing a quick little speech. Just going to throw that out there. And shout out to all you that tried to shush and quiet those people and that showed a little respect. That message from Paul Pierce was about Boston, not about the Boston Celtics or Paul Pierce. So shame on you for booing him. I get why they booed him. I do. I understand why you would boo him. He's a Boston Celtic. He's a guy that's gone into Madison Square Garden and done things and helped beat the Knicks. But when he's going up there to give a speech to say thank you to people from New York for supporting Boston in that time, that's unnecessary. You just don't need to do it. Save your boos for tip-off. It's a very simple concept. Erich's choking on his words right now because he so wants to tell me I'm wrong for saying that. I know he does.
You are wrong, though.
Why? They should not boo a man for saying thank you.
Listen. If Philly can boo and throw snowballs at Santa Claus, this is just fine. There's nothing wrong with this. It's still the New York-Boston rivalry. It's still sports. It's still in a sports arena. And it was a few days after all the stuff went down. So I understand that maybe the fans were in full basketball mode.
It was the morning after they caught the second suspect.
Still.
Shout out to Boston PD, by the way, for catching the second suspect.
I'm not going to sit here and try and say that, the fans are necessarily justified, but I don't think you can get on them too hard. You're right. They probably could have saved their booze, but they just had them coming, and they were, And listen, everybody.
Go ahead. Try to justify this. Go ahead.
Listen, everybody still supports Boston. Everybody still feels strongly about their American pride towards Boston. But you're in the world's most famous arena. You're getting ready for Game 1. The Knicks haven't won a playoff series in 12 years. The fans are amped up for the game, man. And that's all I'm going to say is I just think it was because the fans are just too amped up for game time. And is it something I would have done if I was there? Would I have booed Paul Pierce or would I have booed him? No. But
I think if you were really wasted, you would have.
No, I wouldn't have, because I'm not that kind of guy that, boos a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, if I'm at, I used to be that person. I used to be a real bad heckler, a real bad, yeller, screamer, chanter. But as I get older, I'm more relaxed. I'm a little more not as wasted. I tend to have a few less beers before I get into the arena.
Well, yeah, that's something you notice as you get older. You're like, I don't need to get loaded. I can have a couple beers and still have some fun.
I don't have to drink 18 beers before game time.
I spent $180 inside of a stadium drinking beer. But I was shocked by it. Like I said, I completely get it. I do. I get like you said, Game 1, number 2 seed. Your rival in Boston. I mean, and that's the thing. New York and Boston sports are rivals in every category you're going to name. I don't care which one it is, hockey, baseball, basketball, or football. New York and Boston teams are rivals. Bottom line. So, I get it. It was only a small percentage of people, and that's it. I mean, if the whole stadium did it, I think this would be a much bigger, a little more of a slap in the face. But it was a small handful of people, and they're not to take credit away from the rest of the Knicks fans that were in that stadium, because they were booing. They were not booing. They were trying to shush and quiet those that were booing. So you know what? Small percentage of idiots didn't ruin it for everybody else. Paul Pierce still got his speech in. Knicks still got a win. Crowd got what they wanted. But how about your Knicks defense in that second half?
Unreal.
I mean, just as a fan of the team, how proud of you were you? Just to look at them and say, wow, you guys, I think that's the first time they played defense like that since they went 18-5 to start the year. That was serious defense.
The second half, they clamped down, but they had to. I mean, in the first half, they couldn't stop Green. 20 points in the first half. were just, I mean, the defense looked like Swiss cheese. Melo started the game hot. Second quarter really cooled off. Even third quarter was cool. Hit some buckets in the fourth. I think he had like 12 in the first and like 8 in the fourth or something like that. But there was a stretch of that game where he was missing shots and the Knicks just didn't look quite right. And it really wasn't until about the third quarter where they really started to turn things back around again. And then the defense, like I said, just clamped down. And to me, a big difference in that defense was and especially in the fourth, and I don't think you had a chance to watch late in the game, but Kenyon Martin was the main man down the stretch in the fourth, and Chandler spent a lot of time on the bench. And I don't know if it's maybe that change that helped, but their defense allowed 8 points to the Celtics in the fourth quarter, and on a team that's got Garnett and Green and Pierce and Bradley, and they got guys who can score. And I understand they're missing the biggest piece of their puzzle, and that's Rondo, but still, you can't get 8 points in the fourth quarter.
No.
That's almost pathetic.
As a professional NBA basketball team?
As the Knicks, that almost makes me nervous. Because you know Pierce and Garnett got in that locker room, and especially Garnett, and he was just probably slamming heads together. Just going, what is going on here? Are we real? Like, we don't suck that badly, fellas.
No. And
Let's
you know
get some ish done. You know what I mean?